Completing the square. When we're working with completing the square, you might see an expression in the form of x squared plus bx, and you'll see that this is not a perfect square. However, you can use the following relationship shown below to add a term to your x squared plus bx to form a trinomial that is a perfect square. So if you look here, what we have is x squared plus 6x plus 9. And we have x squared minus 8x plus 16. What they did is they originally just had this x squared plus 6x, and to finish this off by working with completing the squared, what they do is they divide the coefficient of the x term by 2, and then they square the result to get the blue value here. We call this the c. So you took your b, so 6 divided by 2, and you square that to get 9. So that's how they got x squared plus 6x plus 9. For the next one, we look here at our b, which is negative 8. So negative 8 divided by 2 squared is going to give you 16. So that's how they got x squared minus 8x plus 16. Our chart below shows the word definition, how it would look with numbers, and then the algebra behind this. To complete the square of x squared plus 6x, what you'll do is take b divided by 2 squared, you add that to the expression, and this will form a perfect square trinomial. So before you might have just had this, but then you did b divided by 2 squared to finish it off to have it be a perfect square trinomial. Here we have our x squared plus bx, we have x squared plus 6x. To find our c, we divide 6 divided by 2, and you square that to get 9. When you factor this trinomial out, you will get x plus 3 squared. The algebra behind this, x squared plus bx plus blank, we're trying to find our c, so you take b divided by 2, square that. That will become your c. And when you factor it out, it's going to be your x plus b divided by 2 squared. Let's look at an example of what we just looked at. So here they want us to complete the square to form a perfect square trinomial. Notice we have our a and b, and we need to find our c. So the first thing you need to do is identify your b. And our b here is going to be 12. So what you do then is you're going to find your b divided by 2 squared. So you take 12 divided by 2 is 6. 6 squared is going to be 36. So your perfect square trinomial, you'll add that b divided by 2 squared to the expression to get x squared plus 12x plus 36. And that will be your answer. For the next one, we need to, again, identify our b. So it's now going to be negative 5. Then we're going to find our b divided by 2 squared. So it's going to be negative 5 divided by 2, square that, which is going to be 25 over 4. We then add that to the expression. It can't be simplified any further. So you get x squared minus 5x plus 25 over 4. What they did here before dividing negative 5 divided by 2, what they did is negative 5 squared, negative 5 times negative 5 is 25. 2 times 2 is 4. And that is the answer, x squared minus 5x plus 25 over 4. Something else that you'll be looking at in this section is solving a quadratic equation by completing the square. So there are there's quite a few steps here, and you need to write these steps out. The first step is you first need to write the equation in the form of x squared plus bx plus c. You would then find your b divided by 2 squared. You then would complete the square by adding the b divided by 2 squared to both sides of the equation. So this is a little bit different than the last example we were just working with, because you're going to add this to both sides of your equation. You then are going to factor your perfect square trinomial for step 4. Step 5, you would take the square root of both sides. In step 6, you're going to write two equations using the positive and negative square root to solve your equation. So there's a little bit more steps involved, but let's walk through this so this makes sense. So here we have here x squared plus 10x minus 9. So first thing is we need to make sure that the equation is in the x squared plus bx plus c form, and it is in that form. So then what we have to do is find the b divided by 2 squared. Again, our b is 10 here, so it's going to be 10 divided by 2 squared, which is 5 squared, which is 25. So what you have now is we're going to complete the square. So we added in the 25, so we have x squared plus 10x plus 25, but then again we have to add this to both sides of the equation based on our chart from the previous slide. So then what we end up with is we need to factor and simplify. So we get here x squared plus 10x plus 25, that factors to x plus 5 squared, equals negative 9 plus 25 is 16. So now what we're going to do is take the square root of both sides. So remember, you take the square root of the left, take the square root of the right. Square root of the left just unsquares this x plus 5, so you have x plus 5. Square root of 16 is 4, so remember it's plus minus 4. So what we have to do is we have to solve now for it to be x plus 5 equals 4 and x plus 5 equals negative 4. So x plus 5 equals 4, x would then equal 1. X plus 5 equals negative 4, x is now going to equal negative 9 by solving equations. So notice all those steps, and you do need to show all those steps when you're solving the problem. So your final answer here is x is going to equal negative 1, or x could equal negative 9. Last example we're going to solve here by completing the square. So we notice how we have a value 3 in front of my x squared minus 5x minus 2. So we want it to just be x squared by itself. So we're going to pull out that 3 there. So we're going to divide 3 to make your a here 1. So they divide each situation by 3. So what they have here now is x squared minus 5/3 x minus 2/3 equals 0. And then we're going to write it in the x squared plus bx plus c form. So what they did is they added 2/3 to each side. So what you're left now is x squared minus 5x equals, on the right side, 2/3. Now we find our b divided by 2 squared. So our b here is negative 5/3. So negative 5/3 divided by 2, when you're working with fractions you can't divide, so you take the reciprocal. So that's why they multiplied it by 1/2. So negative 5/3 times 1/2 squared is going to give me 25 over 36. So now what we're going to do is complete the square. So we have x squared minus 5/3 x. We add in that b divided by 2 squared on the left, but then you also have to add it to the right. So you have plus 25 over 36 equals 2/3 plus 25 over 36. So we complete the square, and what we end up with here is we are going to add this 2 plus 25, 3 plus 6. Remember, you have to find common denominators. So what you have here is x squared minus 5/3 x plus 25 over 36 equals 24 over 36 plus 25 over 36. And we're going to factor this out. So it's going to be x minus 5/6 squared equals 49 over 36. Then that would be it. So this is going to be my final answer here for this. Actually, we could take this a step further, and we could take the square root of each side. So if you took the square root of x minus 5/6 equals the square root of 49 over 36, that's going to be x minus 5/6 equals plus or minus 7 over 6. So then what you would do is do x minus 5, 6 equals 7, 6. So you could add 5, 6 to both sides. So then what you have is x equals 7 and 5. That's going to give me 7, 12, 6, which simplifies to 2. So x equals 2. And you would have now x minus 5, 6 equals negative 7, 6. So now add 5, 6 to both sides. So we have now x equals negative 2, 6. So x could equal 2 and x could equal negative 2, 6. Negative 2, 6 does simplify to negative 1/3. And that would be your final answer for example number 3.